Hello everybody, myself Prashanta Mukhopadhyay, faculty member, Electrical Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. In our last class of power electronics, actually we have discussed about the applications of the power electronics, and in the last class we have discussed about the speed control of AC motors, different speed control methodology of AC motors using this power electronics. Today actually we'll discuss about the another applications of the power electronics in high voltage DC system. Actually in this lecture we'll discuss about something about this high voltage DC system. Actually what is with a brief introduction of high voltage DC, and what is the need for high voltage DC, and what are the components of high voltage DC, and what are the different HVDC links, that is the types of HVDC links, its advantages and disadvantages. With this and we'll conclude this lecture. So let us start with this introduction. Basically power electronics, you know, we have already talked about this. It is the study of switching electronic circuits in order to control the flow of electrical energy. This is very important. Basically this power electronics study includes the switching electronic circuits to control for the flow of electrical energy. And it is literally impossible to list all the applications of power electronics today, as it has penetrated almost all the fields, and some of the few are listed below, that is aerospace and defense, automotives and traction, home appliances, telecommunication, utility systems and renewable energy. So besides whatever we have discussed so far, so that is the applications of the power electronics in the field of speed control of both DC and AC motors. So this list is list of applications of this power electronics is very big. So because the applications of the power electronics has crossed all the boundaries. Basically it has penetrated almost all the fields. So and not only that, in aerospace, defense, automotives, traction, home appliances, telecommunication, utility systems and renewable energy, power electronics are being used. Now question is what is high voltage HVDC? Basically high voltage direct current electric power transmission system uses direct current for the bulk transmission of electrical power, in contrast with the more common alternating current system. So HVDC actually allows power transmission between unsynchronized AC transmission systems, and for long distance transmission HVDC systems may be less expensive and suffer lower electrical losses. So an HVDC link can be controlled independently of the phase angle between source and load. So this is the basic introductions of the HVDC, basically a high voltage DC power transmission system. It is using this direct current for the bulk transmissions of the electrical power, that in contrast with the more common alternating current systems. And HVDC allows power transmission between unsynchronized AC transmission systems, and for long distance transmission HVDC systems may be less expensive and suffer lower electrical losses. And HVDC link can be controlled independently of the phase angle between a source and the load. Now question is why HVDC? What is the need for HVDC? And you know, as the load demand increases for higher efficiency, there must be only two possibilities. So to increase the generation, and next one is minimize the losses. So definitely as say civilization go on increasing, demand for energy is also going increasing day by day. So if we want to cater this increased demand with a say better or higher efficiency, so what are the possibilities are left? So possibilities, maybe you have to increase, you have to generate more power, and or otherwise if you want to say continue with the existing systems, you have to minimize the losses. So not all, so that is the way. So if we think about the say besides generations, we have to minimize the losses also to say cope up with this increased demand. Then the losses which occur at all stages in the system, at generation, transmission, and say distribution level. So you can't ignore losses in any stage. It is everywhere. So starting from generation, transmission, to at the end level, that is distribution level. So as the losses are greater in AC than DC, the losses can be generally reduced by HVDC transmission. Of course, when you have studied this power system in details, you will find that, or you have already seen that losses are more in AC than DC. So then if AC system can be converted into DC, then loss can be automatically be reduced. So that's why the losses can be greatly reduced in high voltage DC systems. And although there are certain advantages of HVDC systems, but also have the some sort of limitations also. So what are the components of HVDC? Basically, components are very related with our power electronics applications, that is converters, smoothing reactors, harmonic filters, reactive power supplies, electrodes, DC lines, and AC circuit breakers. So these are very important components: converters, smoothing reactors, harmonic filters, reactive power supplies, electrodes, DC lines, and AC circuit breaker. Okay. Now then what is the converter parts? The converter parts perform AC to DC and then DC to AC conversion, because first of all your generation process are AC, so then you have to convert this if you want to say implement HVDC transmission, then you have to convert AC to DC. But your end user and their applications, say appliances are all AC, so then ultimately you have to convert DC again into AC. So this is the converter part, and HVDC converters are usually built as 12 pulse circuits and consisting of valve bridges and transformers. Okay. And smoothing reactors, basically smoothing reactors are serially connected reactors inserted in DC system to reduce harmonic currents and transient overcurrents and or current ripples in DC systems, so to prevent commutation failure in inverter. So this is the function of the smoothing reactors. So smoothing reactors are serially connected reactors inserted in DC systems to reduce harmonic currents and transient overcurrents and or current ripples in DC systems, and to prevent say commutation failure in inverter. Okay. Now harmonic filters. So harmonic filters are used to eliminate these harmonics. You know, so every energy is electrical energy is consisting of fundamental plus higher order say harmonics, that is, and these harmonic filters are used to harmonic say eliminate these harmonics, and converters generate harmonics in voltages and currents, and these harmonics cause the overheating of capacitors and nearby generators and interface with telecommunication systems. So harmonic filters is must. And DC lines, they may be overhead lines or cables, and DC lines are very similar to AC lines, and AC circuit breaker, and they used to clear the faults in transformer and for taking DC link out of service. Okay, this is actually the purpose of the using AC circuit breakers. They are used for clear the faults in the transformer and for taking DC link out of service. Now then next is reactive power supply. So under steady state condition, the reactive power consumed by the converter is about 50% of the active power transfer, and under transient conditions it could be much higher. So for a strong AC power system, this reactive power is provided by a shunt capacitors. Once again, I'm repeating, reactive power supplied under steady state condition, the reactive power consumed by the converter is about 50% of the active power transfer. Under transient conditions, it could be much higher, and for a long AC power system, this reactive power is provided by a shunt capacitor. And what are the electrodes? Electrodes are the conductors that provide connection to the earth for neutral, and they have large surface to minimize current and surface voltage gradients. Okay, so electrodes are conductors that provide connection to the earth for neutral, and they have large surface to minimize current and surface voltage gradient. So what are the types of HVDC links? It may be monopolar links, it may be bipolar links, it may be homopolar links, it may be back-to-back link, and it may be multi-terminal link. So these are the types. So once again, I am telling you, link may be monopolar link, link may be bipolar link, link may be homopolar link, it may be back-to-back link, and it may be multi-terminal links. Okay. Now, one after another, we'll discuss about this link. So, what is monopolar link? So, see, this is the diagram of the monopolar link, and you know, so this monopolar link has a single conductor of negative polarity. So, it is a single conductor of negative polarity, and it uses earth or C for the return path. So very interesting. So it has a single conductor for negative polarity, and it uses earth or C for return path of current. And sometimes the metallic return is also used. And two converters, converter 1 and converter 2, are placed at the end of each pole. Okay. So these are the two converters, and but this link has several disadvantages. Because it uses earth as a return path, and the monopolar link is not much in use nowadays. Once again, I am repeating about this monopolar link. It has a single conductor of negative polarity. It uses earth or C for the return path of current, and sometimes the metallic return is also used, and two converters are placed at the end of each of the pole, end of each pole, and but this link has several disadvantages because it uses earth as a return path, and the monopolar link is not much in use nowadays. Okay. Now we'll talk about bipolar HVDC link. Bipolar HVDC link, basically this is the diagram of the bipolar HVDC link, and the bipolar link has two conductors. One is positive and the other is negative to the earth. One is positive and other is negative to the earth. Okay, so the midpoints of the converter stations are earthed through electrodes. These are the midpoints. Say converter stations are, this is earthed through electrodes. And what is the advantages? If any of their link stops operating, the link is converted into monopolar mode because of the ground return system. Okay, and the half of the system continues supplies the power, because if you say once again see this is actually the monopolar link. So in that case, if any of the say link stop operating, So in that case, the link is converted into monopolar mode because of the ground return system, and the half of the system continues supplies the power. So this is very important, how a bipolar link can be converted into monopolar link in case of any link stop operating. So, so this diagram will clear, and if you compare this diagram, bipolar HVDC link with monopolar link, then the very reason of why if one of the link stop operating, it acts as a monopolar link. Okay, so if any one of their link stop operating in bipolar HVDC link, the link is converted into monopolar mode because of the ground return system, and the half of the system continues supplies the power. So this is the definitely an advantage of this bipolar HVDC link. And next we'll go for discussions of the homopolar HVDC link. So basically, homopolar HVDC link has two or more conductors, all having the same polarity, usually negative. And since the corona effect in DC transmission lines is less for negative polarity, the return path of such a system is through ground, and the homopolar system is not presently used in a very much way. So basically, this homopolar HVDC link, once again I'm repeating about this homopolar HVDC link, it has two or more conductors and all having the same polarity, and usually it is negative. And since the corona effect in DC transmission line is less for negative polarity, the return part of such a system is through ground, and the homopolar system is not used presently. So next we'll discuss about back-to-back line HVDC link. So usually bipolar without earth return, and this is the diagram of back-to-back line HVDC link, and converters and inverters are located at the same place. Basically these converters and inverters are located at the same place, and no HVDC transmission line actually provides asynchronous tie between two different AC network. So here there is no HVDC transmission line. It is basically provides asynchronous tie between two different AC systems. This is also AC system, this is also AC systems, and power transfer can be in either directions. Okay, so this is actually back-to-back line HVDC link. Okay, then multiple terminal HVDC link. Basically, the 3 or more terminals are connected. Okay, this is a diagram. In parallel, some feed power and some receive power from HVDC bus. Okay, there are two possible connections for MT HVDC schemes, so constant voltage parallel scheme or constant current series schemes. Okay, so this is actually multiple terminal HVDC link. These actually there are 3 or more terminals connected in parallel, and some feed power and some receive power from HVDC bus. And there are two possible connections for MT HVDC schemes. Either it is constant voltage parallel scheme or constant current series scheme. Okay, now we'll discuss about the advantages. So loss is very less, as no frequency reversal taken into account, and interconnection of asynchronously operated power systems. And another advantage is it's the absence of transmission line limitations, and another advantage is simple in construction. And then next is first change of energy flow, that is ability of quick and bidirectional control of energy flow. And another advantage is lesser corona loss and radio interferences. Greater reliability can be used for submarine and underground transmissions, and of course low cost of DC lines, cables and insulators and towers. Once again I'm repeating all these advantages. So loss is very less as no frequency reversal taken into account, interconnections of asynchronously operated power systems, absence of transmission line limitations, simple in construction, fast change of energy flow, that is ability of quick and bidirectional control of energy flow, lesser corona loss and radio interference, greater reliability, and also can be used for submarine and underground transmissions, and low cost of DC lines, cables and insulators and towers. So these are the advantages. Now if we talk about these disadvantages, so definitely some disadvantages are also there. So actually we use of converters, filters, etc. increases the overall cost. Expensive inverters with limited overload capacity, and DC circuit breakers are more expensive. HVDC converters have low overloading capacity. More maintenance is required for insulators. Voltage transmission is possible only on AC side, and higher losses in static inverter at smaller transmission. So these are the disadvantages, that is use of the converters, filters, etc. increases the overall cost. Expensive inverters with limited overloading capacity. DC circuit breakers are more expensive. HVDC converters have low overloading capacity. More maintenance is required for insulators, and voltage transmission is also possible possible only on AC side, and higher losses in the static inverter at smaller transmissions. So these are genuine disadvantages of these HVDC systems. So if we say recapitulate what we have discussed in today's lecture in once again, so what we are finding that it is another big area of applications of power electronics, and that is high voltage DC systems. And we have generally we have initially talked about this what is HVDC in its introductory part, that is why HVDC, what is the need for it, what are the components of HVDC, what are the types of the HVDC link, what are the advantages, disadvantages and overall conclusions of these systems. So once again I'm repeating, basically it is using as a switching electronic circuits in order to control the flow of electrical energy. And so besides different area, so a large area of applications of the power electronics, aerospace, defense, automotives, trucks, home appliances, telecommunication, utility system and renewable energy. So actually HVDC transmission systems is basically used for in direct current for the bulk transmission of electrical systems, and HVDC allows power transmission between unsynchronous AC transmission systems. And for long distance transmission, the HVDC system may be less expensive and suffer lower electrical losses, and HVDC link can be controlled independently of the phase angle between source and the load. And why it is needed? Because with increased demand, either you have to increase the generations or you have to minimize the losses. And to minimize the losses, since losses occur at every stages, that is generation, transmission and distribution, we can use HVDC. So losses are greater in AC than DC, and so it can be reduced in HVDC transmission system. And certain advantages, of course, HVDC systems and also have some limitations. And components are converters, moving reactors, harmonic filters, reactive power supplies, electrodes or DC lines and AC circuit breakers. So converters actually basically perform AC to DC and DC to AC conversions, and converters are used basically 12 pulse circuits and consisting of valve, bridges and transformer. And smoothing reactors are used in the DC system to reduce harmonic currents and transient over currents and or current ripples in the DC system and prevent commutation failure in inverters. And harmonic filters are used to definitely eliminate the harmonics and what are the harmonics generated by the converters in voltage and current, and these harmonics cause the overheating of the capacitors and thereby the generators and interference with the telecommunication system. So DC lines may be either it is overhead lines or cables, and DC lines are very similar to the AC lines, and AC circuit breakers are used for clear the faults in the transformer and taking the DC link out of service. Reactive power suppliers under steady state condition, the reactive power consumed by the converter is about 50% of the active power transfer, and under transient condition it could be much higher, and for a strong AC power system this reactive power is provided by a shunt capacitors. And electrodes are conductors that provides connection to earth for neutral, and they have large surface to minimize current and surface voltage gradients. So there are different types of HVDC links. It is monopolar, bipolar, homopolar, back-to-back links, and multi-terminal links. So monopolar links, this is the diagram. It has a single conductor of negative polarity. It uses earth or C for the return part of the current, and sometimes it is a metallic return are also used. And two converters are placed at the end of each pole, and this link has several disadvantages because it uses earth as a return part, and the monopolar link is not much used in nowadays. And bipolar, it has this is the diagram. It has two conductors, one is positive and the other is negative, and other is negative to the earth, and the midpoint of the converters stations are earthed through electrodes. And advantages is that if any of the links stop operating, the link is converted into monopolar mode because of the ground return system, and the half of the system continues supplies the power. And homopolar link, it has two or more conductors. This is the diagram, all having the same polarity, usually negative, and since the corona in DC transmission line is less for negative polarity, the return part of such a system is through ground, and the homopolar system is not used presently. And back-to-back line HVDC link, so this is the systems usually bipolar without earth return, and converters and inverters are located at the same pole. Okay, and no HVDC transmission line is required, and provides asynchronous tie between two different AC network. Okay, these are the two different AC network, and power transfer can be in either directions. And then multiple terminal link, there are more terminals connected in parallel, some feed power and some receive power from HVDC bus, and there are two possible connection for empty HVDC schemes: constant voltage parallel scheme and constant current series scheme. Okay, so this is the system. And once again I'm telling you, this is actually 3 or more terminals connected in parallel, some feed power and some receive power from HVDC bus, and there are two possible connections for empty HVDC schemes, constant voltage parallel scheme and constant current series scheme. And of course we have advantages, discuss about advantages, because loss is very less, as no frequency reversal taken into account, interconnection of the asynchronously operated power systems, absence of transmission line limitations, simple in construction, fast change of energy flow, that is ability of quick and bidirectional control of energy flow, lesser corona loss and radio interference, greater reliability, and can be used for submarine and underground transmission, low cost of DC lines, cables, insulators and towers. And disadvantages are also there: use of converters, filters, etc. increase the overall cost, expensive inverters with limited overloading capacity, DC circuit breakers are more expensive, HVDC converters have low overloading capacity, and more maintenance is required for insulator. Voltage transmission is possible only on AC sides, and higher losses in the static inverter at smaller transmission. So that's all about the power electronics applications in HVDC systems, high voltage direct current transmission system. So I have taken the help of the different say materials available in the internet, and also the help of books of power electronics by P.C. Sen, then Muhammad Rashid, then P.S. Bimba, say Singh Khanjandani Power Electronics. So I once again I'm asking you to besides this video lecture, you must go through your textbook, and if you have any problem of understanding, you can contact me. My contact number, email ID, WhatsApp number, everything is given, as I told you in several times of this power electronics lecture class. So I expect any problem, if you have, you must communicate me. So thank you all of you for patient hearing, and hopefully you have enjoyed the class. Okay, and so that's all for today. So we are concluding this.